Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production, available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned in to the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. That guy over there is the lovable and cuddly Mr. Tim Dennis at the Supernatural News Desk. Hello, lovable and cuddly Mr. Tim Dennis.
Hello.
Another week come and gone, brother. Thank you again for filling in with the lovely and talented Mally Fox last weekend while I was gone.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a good time.
Times had by all. I was in France, had an amazing time with our listeners. We are already planning Scotland 2020. We'd love for all of our listeners to join us on that. We are capping it. No more than 30 people can attend the Scotland event. So if you would like to be a part of it and see Scotland, Supernatural Scotland, then you have to sign up, send me an email. Dave@darknessradio.com. Put in the subject line Scotland 2020. If you've already done that, you don't have to. As soon as we drop it in the next few weeks and make it available, I will start emailing everybody that requested information about it, and you can sign up. There's a deposit. I think it's going to be about 350 euro, and then you can make payments on it. And this will be taking place in September of 2020. We're going to be visiting Loch Ness. We're going to be visiting Greyfriars Kirkyard. We're going to be going back to the haunted cemetery. Amazing stuff. There's tours all along the way, haunted castles, haunted ghost walks, and more. And we would love for you to be a part of that with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, send me an email. You can also find Tim and I together again this year at the Chicago Paranormal Ghost Conference. 2019 Chicago Ghost Conference takes place on October 18th, 19th, and 20th at the Haunted Holiday Inn in Countryside, Illinois. ChicagoHauntings.com is the website, or you could just go over to darknessevents.com and click on the little red banner underneath the big banner so that you can go in there and find information on tickets and more. Tim and I will be attending that together. Then for you in Minnesota, GalaxyCon is going to be taking place here in the Twin Cities November 8th, 9th, and 10th. I will be on hand for that, along with a plethora of celebrities. Tim, Big Bird is going to be there. Big Bird! I'm on the same bill with Big Bird, Tim.
Big Bird?
Carol Spinney is going to be there. Well, Dave, what the hell does that have to do with supernatural or science fiction? It's a giant 10-foot-tall talking yellow bird, Tim. That's what I have to say to you. John Cusack from Hot Tub Time Machine, and I hear he did a couple of other movies in the past, Tim, but Hot Tub Time Machine's John Cusack will be there, and I hear he's willing to say anything at these conferences. You never know. David Tennant, my doctor, will be there, along with Catherine Tate, who played Donna on Doctor Who. William Shatner, Tim, that's right. There's going to be a big shat right at GalaxyCon, and you can come on out and see it. John Wesley Shipp, who played The Flash in the 90s series and has returned to the Flash TV series on the CW, will be there. Tommy, the Green Ranger, is going to be on hand. We've got Drax is going to be there, Tim. That's right. Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Michael Rooker will be on hand as well. There are so many unbelievable guests. It's ridiculous. GalaxyCon.com. Plus, I'll be doing talks every day on the paranormal there. And I would love to meet and greet and say hi to many of you. So if you're in the Twin Cities area, even if you're not, get your ass to GalaxyCon and come on out and see us. And then, of course, the big event kicking off January 2020 is Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2, the second wave. And there are wrestlers, comedians, paranormalists. We are going to have an amazing time. Tickets are sold out, so you can't join us. You should have joined in when you had a chance.
You can
there
get
are
on
no
the
cabins left.
You can get on the waiting list, though.
Yeah, you can get on the waiting list.
Yeah.
You can get on the list of Jericho.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah.
But it's going to be great. And then in March of 2020, Tim and I will be out at Phenomenology. It's back, the premier exclusive paranormal event out near Gettysburg. We would love to see you guys at that. All those informational bits are right at darknessevents.com. We'll also be putting up the Scotland trip as soon as it is available there. All right, it is a supernatural news and Parashare Saturday. Tomorrow, Tim, we're going to be talking with Kyle Macias discussing a new Hatman, the Shadow Man Hatman documentary. It's a great documentary, very creepy. The Hatman, documented cases of pure evil. That's tomorrow on the show. But and one more big plug.
Mm-hmm.
October 3rd, this coming Thursday, Tim, is the debut of the Holzer Files, the TV series that I filmed this year. 10 episodes begin airing next Thursday, October 3rd. On the Travel Channel. Please support us. Watch that show, please. And if you can't watch it, you DVR it. Try to watch the DVR'd episode within 3 days so that it counts towards the ratings. If you can't watch it in the 3 days, at least just turn it on in the background while you're pooping or vacuuming or doing laundry so that it's on and gets registered, and then go back and watch it when you have free time. But make sure that you do tune in to the Holzer Files. Next Friday, October 4th, I'm going to be a part of Ghost Hunt Live Salem. That's a 4-hour live ghost hunt out in Salem, Massachusetts. Ipswich Jail, where many of the witches were held during their trials. We're going to be at the Proctor House. That is the first male to be tried as a witch during the witchcraft trials. And also at Rockefeller's, which was the meeting site where all of these, I think, 150 witches were found guilty. So we're going to be, people will be investigating that, including Jack and Katrina from Portals to Hell. You've got Juan, Dalen, and Marcus from the Ghost Brothers. You've got Chip, Adam, and Amy from Kindred Spirits, and then you've got Cindy Keza, the medium, and myself from the Holzer Files. We'll all be a part of it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That's next Friday the 4th. So go set your DVRs. Pause the show right now. Pause it. Go set your DVR for the Holzer Files, not the Holzer Files, Tim. That's our Christmas edition.
Yes,
just go look up the Holzer Files on Travel Channel and Ghost Hunt Live Salem. Go do it right now. Do you think they did it, Tim?
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I hope they did, too.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just pretend to do it and then tell me they did it and not do it, would they?
I don't think they would, no.
People don't fake it, do they, Tim?
Never.
Good to know. All right, well, we got supernatural news to talk about, so let us begin. Where is this week's story launching us?
Ooh, I want to start locally, Dave. Right here.
Please do.
Yeah, in Minnesota, that's where I want to start. We didn't really, we're kind of in between programs, so to speak, with this whole Storm Area 51 thing, but it kind of ended up in a big old goose egg, Dave. That's the only way I can put it. 2 arrests, Dave, 2 arrests. Essentially what happened. That's
not bad with 18 million people storming Area 51, Tim.
No.
18 million rabid fans doing the Naruto run. And I hear it was overrun.
No.
Aliens were set free.
No.
UFOs were captured. People were flying in the skies in piloted drone UFOs. Tim,
no.
There was nudie dancing.
No.
What?
Not so much. No.
Tim, but it's been planned for months, Tim.
Yeah.
Months. Millions were signed up for this, Tim.
Yeah.
2.2 million people.
Yeah.
Storming Area 51. How did they hold back, Tim?
Well, they evidently...
You're saying they didn't make it? Does that mean that they were gunned down, Tim? I was out of town. I was in France. Did I miss this? Did they shoot the entire lot, all 2.2 million invaders?
No, Dave. Evidently, Mom either made Totino's Pizza or Tater Tot Hot Dish, because a lot of them just stayed in the basement.
Huh.
Yeah. Not a lot of them came out.
Oh, yeah. Weird.
I know this much. About 150 people showed up to see Paul Oakenfold who was the headliner there in Rachel, Nevada, at the big festival. About 150, Dave. 150.
Out of 2.2 million?
Yeah, not a great percentage if you're...
Well, still 150 alien rabble-rousers, only 2 people getting arrested. That's not a bad turn.
No, and one was a woman trying to get under the fence. Evidently not even over, under the fence. That's a route. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Army had a pretty easy job of it over there at Area 51. But the day after the Area 51 storming, which was a fizzle fart in church, so to speak.
A fizzle fart in church, ye say?
Yeah.
Okay.
A WDAY news viewer, which is in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, sent in a video that can only be described as strange, which we had to do something that weekend. Todd Mitchell and his wife own and run the country campground just south of Detroit Lakes. Mitchell was trying to get video of the lightning from storms on Friday, September 20th. On a rewatch, he noticed he captured what appears to be an odd black shape, seemingly flying through the sky before it vanishes into thin air. So we got something there. Maybe the aliens were off by a few states. I don't know. Initially, you may think it's just a bug, but the figure comes back, and if you watch closely, it looks like it flies through a cloud. He said going back a couple of minutes further into the recording, he saw the shape dart across the camera yet again. Mitchell sent in the video, hoping someone could help identify the shape. Mitchell added the reference to Area 51 as ironic and something he's always joked about. He said the Detroit Lakes Chamber of Commerce marks the country campground as Spot 51 on the area's map, Dave. There's your irony of all ironies.
Right.
And the article just says if you happen to know what it could be, just to let them know at Inforum Magazine at inforum.com. There you go. There's the ironic part of everything there on Friday, September 20th, that you had a little something unknown flying over that country campground there in Detroit Lakes.
Well, that's because, Tim, the aliens were like, oh, God, stinky humans, Area 51, let's go someplace better where the air is cleaner, the water is bluer, the skies are amazing, the trees seem to whisper Louise, and they went to Minnesota, Tim. That's where. Well, what are you laughing about?
I don't know. Maybe.
Dave and Tim, my name is Andy, and I'm from Rosemont, Minnesota. I have an extremely haunted clubhouse in my neighborhood. It's a workout center and a community center with a pool. Good to know that the spirits are trying to keep in shape, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know.
I've been going there for over a year now, and oh my God, I've personally experienced paranormal activity and very weird things, including large shadow people, full-body ghosts. I've seen a 4-year-old boy named Jack, many shadows, numerous voices, walking, objects being moved, man with a mask of a ghost. So the ghost is dressed as a ghost, Tim.
Ironic.
He's a surrealist ghost.
Yeah.
Entire conversations between ghosts, full names of ghosts, direct conversations with me, blue lightning. I used to drink that in college, Tim.
Oh, I remember.
Wasn't that made by Mad Dog 2020, the blue lightning?
It was. Those were some rough nights. I remember that. Yeah.
Physical illness like nausea, cold sweats, etc. Well, that's what happened to me when I drank too much blue lightning.
Yes, sir.
Plasma blobs. Yeah, I woke up to those too.
Yep.
Strange missing time. Yep, all part of drinking blue lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few videos with my iPhone and have caught many, many voices and weird experiences. So in a rec center with a pool and workout gym, you record and catch voices. Just going to put that out there.
Okay.
I mean, Is there anybody else there? Is it a desolate ghost town? Well, it is a workout place in Minnesota, Tim, so it could be empty at all times.
Yeah.
He's begging for a professional team with professional equipment to investigate the property. We have permission of the property manager. She said she manages many properties, but this one, security cameras go black for hours. They go blurry. They interface. They jump. all starting back in 2010. I've tried to research land, and it used to be a glass factory before homes were built there. Then, before that, a golf course. Then it was a farm, but I don't know about that, or I don't know before that. Well, if it was a golf course, you probably have a lot of residual anger. You've golfed with me, Tim.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I believe I still hold the course record for the longest stretch of blue lightning words.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah. Yeah, and the shortest drive, I believe.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
To my, to my defense, the wind blew it off, Tim. I hadn't even hit it with the club yet when it dribbled off of the tee and skittered a full 4.5 inches.
Yeah.
I stick by that story.
Let's just say,
and it was a check swing anyway, Tim. I was just, I was limbering up, check swinging it, and I guess I miscalculated by the slightest degree, just tipping the tip of the ball, and then the wind gust from the power of my swing just pulled that ball off the tee. That shouldn't even count against me, Tim.
Well,
that should be a MacGuffin.
A MacGuffin?
What do they call it? A McDowell's?
Yes, McDowell's.
McGoogle? What do we call it when I get a...
Yes, it's a McGoogle. Yeah,
McGoogle. See, I knew.
Andy
also happens to be the president and co-founder of the Jason Show fan club on Facebook with almost 3,000 members. Wow. I was on the Jason Show this past week, Tim.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
We've got some audio here. Hi, this is the Jason Show, and today we have ghost hunter Dave Schrader. Yay!
Wait, the Jason Show is hosted by Mr. Bill?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I didn't have the actual rights to play the audio from the Jason Show, so I was just giving you what I like to call an artist's reinterpretation.
Oh,
Tim.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Yeah, I guess for some reason it was like a mix between Mr. Bill and Kermit the Frog at the beginning of the Muppet Show.
Okay.
Our very special guest star, Dave Schrader. Yay!
It's nice.
Man, I just hope that they bring it back. My show is a huge hit, and that eventually I get to be on an episode of The Muppets Tonight or The Muppet Show or whatever they've got back for the next generation.
Do they even still do that show anymore?
No, that's why I'm hoping they bring it back simply so I can be a guest.
Okay. Well, never know.
Exciting stuff. All right. Well, Andy, thank you for letting us know. I have passed your information on to the team I've been affiliated with for 14 years, the Twin Cities Paranormal Society. So someone should be giving you a call and contacting you to see about setting up an investigation there. And I'm going to do my best if I'm in town to swing in on the investigation with my bottle of blue lightning and see if I can have some plasma blobs with everybody.
No, it sounds like libations for everyone.
Sounds like I'm being dismissive. I'm just trying to be jokey, Andy. No, we will. I've turned it over to the Twin Cities Paranormal Society, and they're a great team that I'm affiliated with, and I will try to make it in for the investigation. If I can't because of filming or other issues, they always report back to me what they found. So thank you very much for alerting us to that. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Timothy, where are we off to next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, let's go straight to the world of TV, Dave, where Ghost Adventures' Zach Bagans explains what it's like being possessed by a ghost.
Oh, okay, Zach. What is it like to be possessed by a ghost?
Well, the lead investigator of Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures gets candid about his scariest experiences this season, how he shakes off bad juju, and the surprising lesson he's learned from hunting ghosts. Dude, bro, and man, these are some of the familiar exchanges you'll hear as the Ghost Adventures crew, Zach Bagans, Nick Groff, and Aaron Goodwin, well, not Nick necessarily anymore, but investigate the world's most haunted locales and scare the bejesus out of the rabid fans every Saturday night. By the way, this is biography.com that wrote this article here. Hopefully the bro talk offers viewers a bit of levity to an already freaky situation, it says in parentheses. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the GA crew takes their job dead seriously as they come well equipped with green-tinted night vision cameras, motion and electromagnetic field detectors, no-contact thermometers, and other ghost-busting gadgets that have captured some hair-raising moments, body scratches, unattended doors slamming, breathy whispers and audio recordings, and images of unexplained orbs and photographs. As the show ventures into its 10th season, Zach Bagans took time out to answer Biography's burning questions about what this new set of ghostly experiences brings. They asked Zach, out of all the places you've traveled this upcoming season, which place was the scariest for you and why? Zach went on to say, I'd have to say the scariest place for me this season was Mexico to investigate at the Island of Dolls. This place wasn't about evil spirits or demons. It was about a place full of possessed dolls that just really got under my skin. The Aztec canals where the Island of Dolls is located have their own countless layers of other dark history and ancient hauntings on top of the island's possessed dolls. The whole area is just a very scary place to be. It's a haunted Mexican water world where you don't want to get lost. I don't think I've really been more terrified than what happens on the island when one of the dolls starts unexplainably laughing. That was it for me. Done. Biography asks, were there any additional scenes this season that you wished viewers would have been able to see but were chopped in the editing room? And he said, our audience needs to understand that myself and my crew have a very serious job and put ourselves in dangerous situations to learn more about the afterlife. On one particular moment during our Halloween special investigation in Ireland, my investigator had a very emotional and disturbing moment that we had to edit down. I feel there's a comfortable and acceptable level of what we choose to show the audience when things take a turn for the worse and we're trying to come in contact with evil spirits and demons. I decided it was right to cut out a small portion of when Aaron claims he was grabbed by a very dark force and had a breakdown after the event occurred. Many people won't ever understand that attacks are more than physical grabs and pushes. These entities can inject pure fear into your spine and let you feel this inside your bodies, something that you can't feel yourselves watching on television. I felt some of the moments Aaron had after this attack were a bit too personal for the audience to understand, but let enough of it air for them to see the effects of what we deal with. Biography went on to ask, what are the best parts of your job and the worst? Zach answered, the best part of my job is being able to travel to places to investigate powerful stories, many of which contain unsolved mysteries and deaths. To me, as a documentarian and paranormal investigator, this puts the adventure in my life and meaning to my job. I absolutely love to interview people, and it is a craft. You really have to know how to be engaging and connect with them to reach their deepest emotional levels and get the answers you're looking for. My new series, Ghost Adventures Aftershocks, is the ultimate platform for my interviewing skills, as I'm mostly dealing with people who have had traumatic experiences and attacks from negative spirits. The worst parts of my job are traveling on airplanes, the airborne contaminants we come into contact with on many of the locations we investigate, and spirit attachments that turn serious when I get home from locations that are haunted by demons and evil spirits.
I think this article may be a re-release of an old article, hence the referral to Aaron, Zach, and Nick, and now the reference to Aftershocks, because that was a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
So I think what they've done is they've just reprinted this article. So, but at least he's explained what it's like to feel like you've been possessed by a ghost.
Yep.
Yeah. If you could, Tim, just going to throw this question out there. Mm-hmm. If you could, would you rather be possessed by a ghost? Would you rather be oppressed by a demon, or would you rather be probed by an alien?
I would say, probed by an alien.
Probed by an alien. All right. Well, that's your deal. Probed by an alien. I'd like to be possessed by a ghost. I'd like to see what it feels like to have a ghost inside me.
Oh, that just didn't come off right.
Well, no, I mean, is there like a connectivity, some kind of link that puts you two together? Just a thought. Just an idea. An idea and a thought.
I picked the alien for this reason.
Uh-huh.
Because with the spiritual, there's always the possibility that you probably couldn't get rid of it. Do you follow me here?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That they could stick around, or that they could keep some sort of tenuous hold on you. So I automatically discount the ghost and the demon, and I say the alien because you get probed and there's a chance that they may or may not come back. So,
right, but they may, Tim. And then it's an ongoing, and then you have to start ghosting the alien and not taking their calls anymore.
It wouldn't be the first time. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the way to go. Hey, speaking of taking calls, we want to take your calls on our Voices from Beyond voicemail, 651-300-4977. It's your chance to shine. Tell us your real-life encounters with the supernatural. 651-300-4977, just like this caller.
Hey, Dave and Tim. This is Steve from California. I was calling because I had an experience, you could say. At one point in my life when I was younger, I lived in a movie theater. It was a singleplex theater, so it had one screen. And it was rather old. It was an original theater back in the town that it was in. It's been there for years and years and years. Either way, I slept on a futon on the stage behind the screen. The owner was nice enough to let me rent out the area, and I was his nighttime security. Either way, one night as I'm sleeping, I wake up to what sounded like someone walking on the stage. It was a wood stage with an empty floor below, so you could hear the creaks. And I couldn't get up. And everyone chalks it up to sleep paralysis. But this is the only time this has ever happened in my life. It's never happened before that. It's never happened after that. It's just this one time. And I kind of chalked out, who's there? I have a knife. Because I did. I sleep with a knife. And then I kind of worked my way up to an elbow. And then like 30 seconds later, I was able to completely get up. But I've never been able to explain it. It might have been sleep paralysis. I'm not sure. I don't know. But that was my experience in an old-time theater, hearing someone possibly walk on the stage and just not being able to move at all for a minute. Not a minute, a couple of seconds, and then being able to work my way up. I was able to talk, but I wasn't able to move. It was absolutely terrifying, and I hope I never have to go through anything like that again. Thanks for letting me share my experience. I got two more, but I know you guys got the time limit, so I hate it, and I know you hate it, but there's stories for another time. Keep up the good work. I'm absolutely loving Beyond the Darkness, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.
It's just that easy. See, you call in, tell us your story. You have 3 minutes to tell us your real-life supernatural encounter. 3 minutes. Well, that's not enough, Dave. My encounter lasts 7 minutes. Well, then what we'd like you to do is call back and pick up where you left off on your story. And you can do that up to a bajillion times. Tim will just take each piece of audio, stitch them together into one cohesive story that we will air on an upcoming episode. So give us a call. It's almost October. And we want to know your stories. Bring out the good ones. Bring out the scary ones. Stop holding them back, people. Stop being so GD possessive of your ghost stories and supernatural encounters and Ouija board tales and alien abductions and Bigfoot visitations. Share your stories. Even if it's heartwarming and loving and fun and angel encounters.
Yeah.
Did you get tugged by a chupacabra?
Boy, did I ever, but it was a drunken night, and we don't talk much about it anymore.
Right. Well, give us a call. Share your story, 651-300-4977. Speaking of stories, every car comes with its share of stories. That ding in your bumper when you nervously picked up on a first date. The luxury package. And you've got a luxury package, Tim.
Well, thank you.
One that you got after your big promotion.
Mm-hmm.
How about the mileage that you saved by riding your bike all summer? I can't even say that one. You and I haven't been close to a bike since we were 9 years old.
Pretty much.
But some people ride their bikes. What about the price tag that you put on your stories? You can't because they're priceless, Tim. Well, now with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car's worth when it's time to sell it or trade it in. You'll always have the memories of that car, and thanks to cell phones and technology and millions of photographs and all of the videos that you shot in that car for TikTok and the Instagrams and the Twitter, Tim, and the Facebooks and the MySpaces and the MyFriender and the all of the other things that I'm not familiar with because I'm not cool enough to get in on it yet.
Mm-hmm. Marco Polo.
Is that a game you're playing with me right now? I mean, we're in the middle of a show, Tim.
It's another one of those apps.
Oh, yeah. Another fancy app, Marco Polo?
Yeah.
See, I don't get the invitations to the cool stuff. Tim's already been there. You probably already knew it. You're probably all sitting around talking about me behind my back, but that's neither here nor there. What you need to do is go to TrueCar. Simply enter your license plate number. Watch how your car's details pop up. Oh, it knows, Tim. It knows all about your car. Then you answer a few questions. Navigation and moonroof? Watch as that bumps up the value of your wheels. How about high mileage? Well, you knew that was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet, so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a true cash offer sent in just minutes, which you then take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in your vehicle. So when you're ready to experience the best way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. True cash offers are not available in all areas. All right, Tim, where are we off to next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave, the question's being asked, could you brave a night in a Tennessee hotel room if you knew what happened there?
Is it another night of blue lightning, Tim?
I think it is, yeah. I think this is a loaded question. This Tennessee hotel suite, known as Annalisa Netherly's room, is said to be one of the most haunted rooms in America. People are now trying to brave a night there. One of America's most haunted rooms is opening up to the public for the first time since a $37 million renovation, and people are beginning to find out about its macabre history. Room 311 at Reed House in Chattanooga, Tennessee, also known as Annalisa Netherly's room, has been open for bookings for every Thursday in October, the 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 24th, and Halloween night for a one-night stay. The limited dates mark the only times the restored Room 311 will be available to book this year. The room is called Annalisa Netherly's room because a woman by that name is said to haunt the premises after. So the debated legend goes, she was nearly decapitated in a bathtub by a former lover. Sounds like a great romantic night, Dave. Though some suggested she committed suicide in her own jealous rage by decapitating herself. Just saying.
That's commitment, Tim.
It is, yeah.
That's real commitment to your cause.
You really got to.
Decapitation's a slow process.
It is, yeah.
And you really got to be into that. Wow, decapitation of yourself. Okay. Yeah. Good grief.
Yeah. The room, which was home to legendary 1920s murder and housed Al Capone on his way to his federal tax evasion trial, is available daily for fearless visitors to tour, but it has not been able to be rented since the renovations restored it to its creepy former glory. The name of my new album, by the way, Creepy Former Glory. After reading all accounts of haunted Room 311, we knew the best thing to do was to restore the room to make Annalisa Netherly comfortable with no modern amenities. And we are excited to welcome new guests to share her room, General Manager Ken Merkel said in a statement. Room 311 looks and feels like Annalisa's room in the 1920s. There's an AM radio that does not work, so good luck with that. A vintage clawfoot tub, an original pull chain toilet, antique furnishings, and distressed hardwood floors, just like it would have been in the early 20th century. And of course, no television, Dave, so, you know.
Oh, God, no television. How are they going to watch the Holzer Files, Tim?
I don't know. There's one less.
I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a new hit TV series that will soon be airing on the Travel Channel Thursday nights, Tim. Yeah. The Holzer Files. Now, part of the Travel Channel family.
Yeah, and not in that room it isn't. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Son of a biscuit.
Yeah. Those paranormal accounts reportedly include flickering lights, unexplained noises, ghostly apparitions, and running water in the bathroom, according to the hotel's website. The hotel also reinstalled the bars over the windows that were put in place when Al Capone stayed in the room. For those willing to brave the haunt, the limited time, the Reed House Haunted Room 311 Experience Package starts at the appropriate price of, get this, Dave, $666. Oh, they have such a sense of humor. And will include overnight accommodation, complimentary valet parking, a decanter of bathtub gin, because why not, 2 Annalisa cocktails at the hotel's bar and billiards room, and room service for breakfast, as long as you don't flee in terror in the middle of the night. There you go.
That's weird. $666 is what they're charging for that, Tim?
Yep, for the Reed House Haunted Room 311 experience.
Well, it's worth it. If you do it, listeners, if you do that and you're one of the lucky few that decide to lay out that kind of capital but have an adventure of a lifetime, you got to call into the show or email into the show. Maybe send smoke signals to the show, Tim. We need to know about your experience. And, the best way is to call Tim personally at 612.
Dave.
What?
Email or call the voices from Beyond Line. That's fine.
Oh, I just thought you might like to hear it because I know you like breaking news at 612.
Dave.
What?
Dave.
No?
No.
All right, fine. I guess you could just call the Voices from Beyond voicemail, 651-300-4977. Be a part of the show by sharing your real-life experiences with the supernatural and the strange. We'd love to hear from you. Since Tim is unwilling to give you his phone number, I'll give you mine. It's 651-300-4977. Leave that message there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more of your stories and more supernatural news right here on Beyond the Darkness. Calling all true crime fans, the Court Junkie podcast is now once a week on Podcast One. Imagine being wrongfully convicted for a crime you didn't commit, or a killer is still on the loose even though there's enough evidence for an arrest. The Court Junkie podcast shines a light on the injustices of the judicial system through deep dives into court documents and interviews with those closest to the case. Download new episodes of Court Junkie podcast every week on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
Beyond the darkness.
We're back. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. That guy over there is Tim Dennis. We've got more supernatural news, more of your stories to share. As a matter of fact, how about if we do one of those stories right now, Tim? Would you like that? Would you like me to read to you, Tim?
Sure, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Dear Dave and Tim,
Hi.
My father and I used to love to ride motorcycles together. We would take off on a Saturday and sometimes be gone for the majority of the day and never really go anywhere in particular, just go riding around. One Friday evening, I asked him if he was up for a trip the following morning, but he wasn't sure because his back had been giving him a lot of problems, and said to call him in the morning to see if he felt better. I did, as he said, and called the next morning, but still didn't feel like riding that day, so I decided this would be a solo trip and started out the door to leave. Just then my phone rang, and my father said he would go ahead and join me, but that he would probably have to turn back after just a few miles down the road. We headed out down the highway with me in the lead and him following close behind. We had agreed ahead of time that if he hadn't turned back already, to stop after about a half an hour to see how he was doing. About 20 minutes into the ride, I looked into my mirror to make sure he was still with me and not having problems, but what I saw about took my breath away. My father wasn't alone on his motorcycle. I knew for a fact that he hadn't stopped to pick anyone up. Oh, this is already giving me the shivers, dude. And no one was with him from the start. So I couldn't figure out what was going on. Right there, clear as day, sitting behind my father was a man dressed in an all-brown suit with black hair. I couldn't believe my eyes, but I couldn't panic because I would have wrecked my own motorcycle. I decided to find the first available spot to pull off up the road and find out what the hell was going on. I looked back down the road and then back in the mirror 3 or 4 more times just to make sure I wasn't seeing an illusion, but every time the man was right there sitting behind my father. Finally, I spotted a good place up ahead to pull off the road and checked once more to see if the man was still there with my father. This time, all I saw was my father. We pulled off the road and I walked back to tell my father what I had seen, but before I could say anything, he said we didn't need to pull off because his back had stopped hurting. He said just a couple miles back up the road, he had started hurting so bad and cramping that he almost wrecked his motorcycle. Then suddenly a wave of relief came over him and all the pain just disappeared. He told me the exact spot it happened, and I still get goosebumps to this day because the exact spot it happened is the spot I first saw whatever it was riding with him that day. We went on to have a great ride that day and many more after without ever seeing anything that strange again. I'm still not sure what I saw, but I am forever thankful that it was there that day to keep my father safe. Sorry for the long message, but I had to tell someone who may not think I'm totally nuts. Love your show, and thank you guys for all you do. And that comes from Jeff. Jeff, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. All right, speaking of very cool, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news, Tim?
I don't know if it's so cool or not. I actually saw this on television the other day.
Okay.
I don't know. Staten Island mansion residents are haunted by a grisly mob murder, Dave. If you ever watch any...
Shay, boo, I'm a villain. Yeah, Shay, brr, yeah.
If you ever see any of the paranormal features on Dr. Oz, some of them aren't as spectacular as you would think.
What?
Yeah, Dave.
What?
I saw one of the paranormal features yesterday on Dr. Oz, and it went like this. So you know, Dr. Oz is sitting there, and he goes, So let me get this straight. The medium got evidence of paranormal activity at the house. Yeah, Dr. Oz, she got evidence of paranormal activity. What did she get? Let me get this straight. So she got orbs? There were plenty of orbs? Yeah, Dr. Oz, there are orbs everywhere. So that's amazing. So there were orbs. There were orbs everywhere.
Dr. Oz is buying into orbs?
Yeah. Oh, boy, did he ever. It was outstanding.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Orbs.
That was
Maybe I should reach out to Dr. Oz, because I've got a new show on the Travel Channel called The Holzer Files, Tim, that starts airing Thursday, October 3rd, and will run every Thursday for the next 10 weeks after that. And maybe he'd like to have me on, and I can explain to him that orbs are not real, Tim. They're not as real as the orbs that he probably helped put into women's chests.
Yeah, Dave, unless you've got plenty of orbs on the Holzer Files, I don't think he'll take you. Yeah. Just saying.
Weird.
Just saying. Let's get to this story, though. I'm sure there's not any orbs in here.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Staten Island mansion, the residents are haunted by this grisly mob murder. When Anna Raimondi stepped into a 140-year-old Staten Island house, she was overwhelmed by visions of brutality. Raimondi, who said she is a medium, was sent by the Dr. Oz show to investigate paranormal activity in the Kreischer mansion because its current residents have reported scary, inexplicable incidents. Slamming doors, locked rooms, and audible footsteps are all regular occurrences at 4500 Arthur Kill Road, said inhabitants Liz Moreno and Rick Rispoli. We look at each other and say, "Did you really hear that?" Rispoli told Dr. Oz on the episode that airs Thursday on Fox WNYW Channel 5, in New York, that is. "I usually get freaked out." The pair said they have even captured images of apparitions. Oh, yes, this was the episode I saw, because Rispoli adds, "We've caught orbs," showing a series of photos.
You're watching your daily shows, were you, Tim? Your stories?
Yes, my stories. Yeah.
Your Maury, your Guiding Light.
Hey, I love me some Maury. Don't you rip on Maury. I love me some Maury.
I'm just saying, those are your shows, your shows.
I love me some Maury. Don't you rip on Maury.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have you know that WWE and Maury may be doing a crossover soon. Just saying.
Really?
Yeah. There's a big storyline going on right now with Maria Kanellis and who's the father of her baby, and they may bring Maury in. Just saying.
When you want to find out who the daddy is about, watch Maury.
That's right.
What do you think? I should write up a whole theme song for him that way.
What
do you think?
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
If you're inbred and still wish that you could get good head, watch Amore.
What?
I don't know. I'm just doing it off the top of my head, Tim. It's not all gold, all right?
Well, you were onto something there, and then you
I'm on something,
left. Yeah. Rispoli added, we've caught orbs, showing a series of photos in which a cluster of lights appears to float above a set of exterior stairs. Bad photo.
Oh, my God, Tim, do you need the Heimlich maneuver?
Oh, if you would, please. They moved to 5 different locations. If you follow all the pictures, they move in a circle, Rispoli added. God. The residents also claimed to have captured photos of some figures in the windows. Now we're talking. Eager to find more about what happened in the home, Dr. Oz tapped Raimondi, who has investigated other murder houses for the health guru. because why shouldn't he get into the paranormal? It has nothing to do with, actual health stuff. According to the program, she knew nothing about the Kreischer mansion before entering it. Wow, somebody was dragged here, Raimondi said upon setting foot in the house. I'm feeling the energy. This medium, by the way, screamed like somebody had a knife in her keister. I'm just saying. She was quite dramatic, Dave. It was
How do you know what someone sounds like when they have a knife in the keister? Dave asked, perplexed.
Let's just say, Dave, I'm quite worldly. There you go. Quite worldly.
Yes. Ladies, think about that. When being courted by Tim, he knows what it sounds like for a woman to have a knife in their buttocks.
I didn't say a woman.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Oh.
I've,
But she was a woman, and it sounded like she had a knife in her butt.
I'm just saying that, I might have slipped and tripped on one too many deer hunting. I was out deer hunting, and I might have slipped and tripped and fell on my knife.
Slipped and tripped and fell on your knife, you say? Huh. That's something. All right. So, where are we off to next?
No, there's not more? Next. I'm still reading.
God, I didn't know Dr. Oz was this into it, that the story was longer than the episode.
It's pretty involved here, Dave.
Yeah. So, for orbs, I understand. It's orbs, Dave.
Yes.
Orbs.
Orbs, Dave. Orbs. So Raimondi said, I'm feeling the energy. He was killed, but I feel like a stab. They're stabbing. Somebody's sitting on somebody. They want him to die. This man, he did not want to die. Blood. So it was all blood in here. Like bloody, very bloody.
Oh, God, Mother, blood. Blood, Mother, what have you done?
Exactly. Was there more than one murder here? Raimondi went on to ask. She went on to later describe how a spirit was watching and crying about the desecration of his body. She then had an overpowering vision of water being involved. Water, Helen, water! I don't know what that means. And even pointed out the grave in the backyard. It's no surprise to many locals the Kreischer Mansion is, after all, one of the most haunted spots in New York City, that the home was the site of a grisly mob murder. In 2005, a Bonanno crime family associate named...
I was fearful of the banana crime syndicate in the 80s, though, Tim.
Well, they were Cuban.
They were kind of fruity.
They were.
Thank you, everybody. Da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-da-ba-da.
A Bonanno crime family associate named Robert McKelvey was killed by other family associates after he offended leader Gino Galestro. He also owed Galestro money. An unsuspecting McKelvey was lured to the house by the groundskeeper, mob associate Joseph Young, a.k.a. Joe Black. Oh, that was a David Spade movie, wasn't it? Along with 3 other mob members. According to reports, Young stabbed McKelvey, but that didn't work, and the targets made a run for it. Young caught up with him again and attempted to strangle McKelvey with no luck. McKelvey wasn't able to fight off his attackers any longer and was drowned in a small pool outside. His body was left in its own blood while the mobsters grabbed a bite to eat. How caring, before returning to cut up the corpse and burn it in the furnace. Young was later convicted of the crime and sentenced to life in prison. Incredibly, that wasn't the only murder in the house, built in the 1880s. According to local legend, Edward Kreischer, who lived in the house during the 19th century, shot himself in the head, and a cook was murdered in the kitchen. It's because of these crimes locals said they heard a woman, thought to be Kreischer's wife, wailing and banging pots and pans from the deceased cook. There you go.
Good grief. Well, that got better.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Better than just orbs, I say.
Well, there's a lot of screaming about orbs for like 20 minutes on the show.
Well, shenanigans. I'm going to get on the show. I'm going to try to get the people behind the Holzer Files to get me on Dr. Oz.
Not unless you have orbs, Dave. You got to have a lot of orbs.
I would like to. You know who I'd like to go on is Dr. Phil.
Oh, there you go.
I think the two of us would be his good old-fashioned common sense horse medicine and my state-of-the-art
medicine.
finely honed weapon of a brain, Tim. I think we could come together and create quite an interesting dynamic on his program.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I know Revlon's going to make a lot of money in makeup and on that episode.
Oh, you're taking shots at the bald guy, Tim?
Well, maybe a little bit.
Two bald guys?
Yeah.
See where this goes.
Just saying.
Whew.
Yeah.
Whew. Hey, Big Deb.
Big Deb?
It's not, must be talking about you. Hey, Big Dave and Tiny Tim. Listening to your Reverend Bean interview about possessions and his experiences, and I've been on the fence about contacting you. I'm an end game person in relation to religion. What's the end game? It's tough to see the end when you don't know the beginning, so I don't blame people. I always thought, the darkness's mission was its master release and to push God into breaking the prison seals. Okay, and these people that are being tormented may have had some path that the darkness was trying to push them off, and that's what I've thought. It didn't sit right, but, until the other day. The Reverend spoke of priests trying to exorcise people for years. All the time he was spent helping these people. Then you said the Reverend was a warrior, and when things got dicey, you would call him in. That's when it hit me. Oh, no. What if this is just a diversion, a trap? What's the end game? Keep God's aces busy here while over there, it just didn't add up. Because with the real threats, you wouldn't even know they're there. I felt like I read that very Captain Kirkian.
You did,
but he had a lot of periods in between the words. You wouldn't even know they're there, Spock. They would be among leaders and famous, those who could influence and make major changes. That's part of the end game. It doesn't matter if you read this or not. I just couldn't resist till I sent out a warning into the ether. Sometimes that's just enough to put a wrench into the dark plans. Be safe. The answer, keep answering the call, and that comes from the Scribe. Well, thank you, the Scribe. We appreciate that.
So what's the end game?
I don't know. Thought it was a pretty decent Avengers movie.
It was, yeah.
Other than that, speaking of end games, Tim.
Yeah.
It's the fourth week. Dun, 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 dun! NFL is in full effect, son.
Oh, yes.
Bum. Here's our picks for betonline.ag, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Tim and I, the masterminds of the sports bookology, have put our heads together. First of all, the way they score this is a little dodgy. I'm going to be honest with you. I have fun doing this, Tim.
Yeah.
But you and I have, consistently been turning in, out of 5 picks, 3 to 4 winners every week.
Right.
But still, we sit with only 6 points, while other shows have 12 points. That's fine, Tim, because it's not about the points to us. It's about the fact that we know we're picking winners, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And here's our picks for this week. So if you're playing along with us, betonline.ag. I'm not saying you should bet the same things we're betting. I'm not saying you're going to make $1 million by betting on the things that we're betting on, Tim. But I am going to say that you and I are doing pretty okay in the financial field of betting. Because when you pick 3 out of 5 winners, 4 out of 5 winners, Tim, and you're betting appropriately, you and I, we're making some bank, son. Bank. And here's our picks for this week. Vikings over the Bears. Patriots over the Bills. Colts over the Raiders, Tim. And, of course, Pat Mahomes leading the Chiefs to their destiny over the Detroit Lions. Now, that's a dodgy game to me because that seems so unbalanced that, sometimes Detroit steps up and they're giant killers. So I'm a little concerned about that pick, but I still am going Chiefs over Lions. Our lock for this week, Tim.
Yes.
The great minds have come together. Tim Dennis, Dave Schrader, sitting and sipping over a tea, wearing nothing but flip-flops and some anointing oil. We chose the Ravens over the Browns. We're going to pick a score of 27-10 because that's how confident we are in this game. We're going to pick a final score, 27-10, Tim. And I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, honestly, Jackson's got it going on with the Ravens right now, and he's moving that offense, and the Browns are falling apart. Let's face it, they just are, and they're a hot mess right now. And going into Baltimore, it's going to be a one-sided game.
See, it's unfair that the rest of these chuckleheads are even up against us. Adam Carolla, Steve Austin, because they don't realize the psychic dynamic between the two of us, Tim. We've been toying with them, a little cat and mouse over the last few weeks. We've already toppled Steve Austin. Former champion Steve Austin, Tim. Stone Cold is pretty much how he's reading these games, Tim. Stone Cold bad. Oh, and he's picking the Bills over the Patriots, Tim. Now, granted, the Bills are on a tear. Mm-hmm. They're doing something we haven't seen since early 1990s through the mid-90s.
And you know what? The Patriots may have a few injuries, but they've got a stone-cold defense, and that's what little tepid Steve Austin is forgetting here.
Yeah, Steve Austin picking the Bills over the Patriots. Good day, sir. Good day. As a matter of fact, Steve, if you're listening, and I know you are, because you're a petty, petty little man who hates the fact that we're besting you, I'll tell you what, Steve, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm betting the Patriots to beat the Bills handily, Tim. And if I lose, I will make a $100 donation to Steve Austin's charity of choice. How about that? That's how confident I am that Steve is going to pick another stone cold choice in that game. How about I put it out there, Tim?
Okay.
$100 to the charity of his choice if the Bills somehow defeat the Patriots. That's the kind of guy I am, Tim. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't want to brag, Tim, but he's only got 5 points.
Well,
going into the fourth week, he's got 5 points, Tim.
But Dave, we have 6.
Right, that's 1 point more, Tim. That allows me to still laugh at Steve Stone Cold Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. But we have 6.
I have a feeling by the end of the season, Tim, they will not be able to rebuild him.
They've barely rebuilt him now. I mean, he's got a thin stack of dimes they call a neck right now. I mean,
Corolla, he's got a total of 8 points. For a guy who hosts a show called Good Sports, Bad Picks, Good Sports maybe should be the proper title of his show. Only 8 points. We're just 2 points behind him, Tim, and I have a feeling that we're going to topple the great Adam Carolla by the end of the season. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
That's a tall mountain to climb, but I think we could do it.
Adam Carolla. Remember when you used to be a thing, Adam?
Ooh.
I'm just kidding, Adam. Call me. I want to be back on your show. Anyway, we're going to topple Carolla by the end of the season, Tim. I bet we're going to have more points than Adam Carolla's Good Sports program. That's how confident I am in our psychic abilities. We're just warming up, Tim. We're just warming up.
Yeah.
We're luring them in with our 6 points. Oh, sure, there are other shows out there with 12 points, but they've got to deal with the devil, and we don't do that, Tim. We're not in league with Satan.
That's right.
We play by gut instinct.
There's that, yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
At least you think it's gut. I could be
like
wrong. So it's week 4. We've got a great set of games to go through this week. I've shared our picks with you. Remember, there's a $500 reward each week to give out for any of the shows that win. So if our show wins this week with the most points scored this week, we get to give out 5 $100 awards to our listeners that are playing along on betonline.ag. What? You haven't signed up yet? Did I mention there's a $5,000 season-long charity contest as well? And come on. Right now, we're challenging Steve Austin and Adam Carolla for points. We think we're going to topple their ways, Tim. So be a part of this with us. You can join the conversation on Twitter with hashtag SportsNetChallenge. You can tell old Stone Cold and old Adam Carolla that the Darkness boys are coming calling for them. So maybe you're in NFL, college football, whatever. The action continues to heat up this week on the big games on the schedule that you're not going to want to miss out on. Visit our good friends and exclusive partners at Podcast One, betonline.ag, to take advantage of the best bonuses in the business. Sign up for a free account and make sure to use promo code PODCAST1, PODCASTONE. You'll get a 50% sign-up bonus. How about that? A 50% sign-up bonus. The NFL Week 4 biggest matchups, Philly at Green Bay. We know how that turned out, huh? Mm-hmm. Tennessee at Atlanta, Cleveland at Baltimore, Minnesota at Chicago, in Dallas at New Orleans for you college football fiends. Week 5 biggest matchups: Virginia at Notre Dame, USC at Washington, Washington State at Utah, Texas A&M at Arkansas, and Miss State at Auburn. So you want to get in, get your bets going, visit betonline.ag. And don't forget that promo code, podcast1, for your 50% sign-up bonus. betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. And make sure you sign up now. Get going. Place your bets with Dave and Tim. We've been picking 3 to 4 winners every week out of 5. That's big bank, kids. You could be playing along with us. Or you could be shaking your fist in righteous indignation if you lose a lot of money because we might be wrong on occasion. But 3 out of 5 ain't bad. That's what Meatloaf tells us, right?
Right.
So be a part of the fun. Use our psychic abilities and be a part of the challenge over at betonline.ag and use that term podcast1 to get the 50% sign-up bonus. Where are we going next in the world of supernatural news, Tim?
We're going to this sounds just weird. We're going to a video that shows a ghost wheelchair rolling itself around a hospital, Dave. Evidently, there's wheelchair races in the afterlife.
Why not? Those are always fun in the now life.
I guess. If they're automated wheelchairs. It's not so fun to push yourself around. Sure, you keep your upper body in shape, but, it's just not all that much fun. You get winded. I'm not a big fan of getting winded, Dave. I'm just not.
All right, so what's the story?
The story is this. An Indian security guard got the chance to celebrate Halloween early this year, whether he wanted to or not. Manoj Kumar was working early in the morning at a hospital in Chandigarh. That's the name of the city. When he noticed something strange, one of the wheelchairs parked outside of the building had started rolling around even though there was no one in it. I came out to drink water and I saw the wheelchair moving on its own, Kumar told News Flare. Security footage from outside the building confirmed Kumar's spooky story. The video captured by CCTV shows the wheelchair slowly roll out of a corner, taking a winding path toward a walkway nearby. At one point, the wheelchair even seems to back away from a railing before moving forward again and rolling off into the distance. Kumar himself can also be seen on camera exiting the hospital to investigate the mysterious moving chair. The security guard did find the incident strange, but he didn't think anything paranormal was going on. It was just wind and nothing else, Kumar said. I was also feeling very cold. Kumar noted it was definitely windy that morning, which could explain how the chair was able to roll so far despite not being on an incline. However, paranormal experts also believe cold spots are a sign of haunted areas. What is more, only certain people seem to feel these cold spots. Others can stand in the same place and feel nothing, the UK's Paranormal Education and Research Charity says of the spots. Regardless of how people perceive the incident, the pre-Halloween timing of Ghost Wheelchair feels like an ideal October occurrence.
Good evening, Darkness Dave and Towering Tim. Wow.
Yeah, I kind of like that one, I'm not going to lie.
Taller than you, though.
Well, maybe I'm towering in another way.
Wow.
Just saying.
Ha! That's how it says. Ha! How was that for an opening line? Yeah, I know, but I try. First off, I want to thank you so much for the hours of listening enjoyment and the multiple hours of work it took to make it. I know it wasn't always easy, and through it all, you both still had time to write a response to me when I messaged you about one thing or another. So again, thank you. And now for my story. Even though it's not a wild one like Betty and Barney Hill or the case of the Warrens, as of writing this, it happened 2 days ago. But I need to start the story further back than that, Tim. We're going back in time, Tim.
Oh, okay.
My granddaughter, Ari, visits words is hard, Tim. Our granddaughter, Ari, visits us a lot. When she's over, Debbie, my wife, does what she can to entertain. But sometimes that little girl, Ari, gets bored and tries to entertain herself. 2 years ago, Ari slipped out of sight into the bedroom and found Debbie's wedding ring. Due to medical issues, sometimes my wife can't wear rings, so she kept it in a ring holder sitting near the nightstand. Ari was 7 years old at the time and admitted she saw it and picked it up. It was sparkly and shiny, she said. But sometimes 7-year-olds aren't that coordinated. And she dropped the ring. Dun, dun, dun! Tune in next week for the conclusion. No, we'll do it right now, Tim. On and off for months, I'd mount a search to try to find it. I've moved the nightstand, lifted up the bed mattress and box spring to look underneath, and ran out a battery charge, running my flashlight all over the place. Nothing. This house is old. If we ever can afford it, it needs a good replacement. There are wobbles and gaps in the floor, so I could easily see the ring falling through to the ground below. I was hoping the ring would turn up when we moved the stuff out to live in a new house. The plans didn't work out for us to purchase a new building, so we currently in the same one for now. Not knowing when or if we can put up a new one has been a stormy cloud over us, and it has made Debbie miss her ring even more. She would often ask me to go searching again, but I knew I'd covered the area pretty well, and further looking wouldn't help. A shiny gold and diamond ring is hard to miss, even if it's crowded by a dust bunny or two. So the years pass, and the loss really digs at my wife. I didn't know it, but Debbie asked her late mother if she has any power to help us in finding the ring. And so, 2 days ago, I find myself not able to sleep. I'm in the other bedroom trying what I can to get sleepy, or at least amuse myself while I'm stuck awake at nearly 3 a.m. I just finished reading a book and decided to grab the next one in the series on the shelf. When I pulled it out, the missing ring somehow appeared on the edge of the shelf. Ooh, Tim. Chilling. It didn't seem to fall from the top of the books. It was like it had been between them and just slid out, even though there isn't room between the books for that to happen. It took a moment for me to realize what I was seeing. Well, so much for sleeping. I took the ring into the master bedroom and woke Debbie up to show her. That's when she told me about asking her mom for help. All I can say is apparently it worked. Freaks me out a little bit. There is no way to get that ring from near her bedside to my bookcase without some paranormal help. Thanks for letting me ramble this story. It's after 3 a.m. now, so I'm getting a little spooked telling it. Yeah, I can't sleep. Again, your listening pal, Rod. Thank you, Rod. What a very cool story.
Yes, indeed.
Big cool stories. Where are we going next?
We're headed to Georgia, where there's a ghost town there that has an experimental forest full of paranormal activity. October is just right around the weekend. I won't even say around the corner. You just go right around the weekend, and it's right on the other side.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is also the week that the Holzer Files premieres on the Travel Channel, Tim. October 3rd, the Travel Channel, the new TV series, The Holzer Files, with your friend Dave Schrader, will be premiering on October 3rd, running 10 weeks consecutively every Thursday on the Travel Channel. The Holzer Files.
I see, yeah.
Don't forget to record it right now.
No, right, yep.
As you were saying, Tim?
Yeah. So October is coming up right around the weekend, so it's time to get cracking on your fall bucket list full of all things spooky. I think Dave already told you about one. From faux haunted houses to the real ones warming with spirits, Georgia has everything you need to complete your spooky season checklist, including the abandoned ghost town in Georgia. Skull Shoals Experimental Forest sounds like it came straight out of a horror movie. And to be honest, the name is quite fitting for the landscape. The creepy forest in Watkinsville, Georgia, has seen everything from Hernando de Soto and his troops in the 1500s to the mills and textile factories in the 1800s. The creepiest part about it all is that many of these structures from the industrial era still stand today. Just the sight of them will give you chills. Skull Shoals, which is part of the Oconee National Forest, was used in the civiculture research in the 1930s and is now a recreational area ridden with 1,000-year-old spirits. Before these modern eras and after the land was inhabited by Native American tribes, the forest was home to cotton gins, grist mills, sawmills, and a 4-story textile mill that was once employed over 600 workers. The entire town was demolished by a flood in 1887, leaving it in economic ruin. Do you think you'd sense the spirit of a factory worker from the 1800s? The real question is, are you brave enough to find out? Your visit can double as a scenic hike as you stroll along the Oconee River to discover all the ruins of the Skull Shoals village and view them up close. We think it's safe to say that with this much history, there are hundreds of spirits roaming around the 4,500 acre landmass. Continue on with the spooky juju at more haunted Georgia establishments, including this hotel inhabited by a murdered maid, or step foot inside Georgia's oldest and creepiest abandoned jail. The Skull Shoals Experimental Forest, of course, is free to roam around. It's in Watkinsville, Georgia, and has some of the oldest and most historical lands in Georgia to explore. The ruins of 200-year-old mills and spirits as old as 10,000 years who roam the acreage. So there you go.
Very cool. All right. Hey, we want to hear your stories. You can give us a call, 651-300-4977. Call our Voices from Beyond voicemail, just like this caller.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Dave. I'm excited to share my story with you guys. I have a story from a prison that I used to work at. And it was out in the middle of the desert in Southern California. And I got called late in the shift to work overtime. And it was a building that years ago used to be a bowling alley. The rest of the prison used to be a mining town. And there was a giant open pit mine that was on the other side of the prison. And basically they just, once the mine closed down, they converted everything to jail facilities, and even some of the housing became our housing as an incentive for us to work there. It was quite a spooky, weird place, and especially at night in the desert, it's quite interesting at night. So I had to work overtime in one of the giant buildings that used to be a bowling alley, like I said, and we conserved energy at night, so lighting was down to a minimum. And I was basically babysitting an inmate that was getting transferred out the next day. You can't just lock inmates up in buildings and leave them there alone. So he was secured in his own little side room, and I was in an adjacent room where I can hear him and I could check on him occasionally, but he was asleep. And I was at a desk and basically just reading magazines and biding my time working a graveyard shift overtime. And I could hear a noise at the far end of the building after I'd been in there about 2 hours. And it sounded like someone with a giant set of keys on his side walking, and the keys were just jingling and jangling and making noise, but it was in the dark end of the building. And at first I thought it was one of the other guards just making the rounds, doing security check rounds. And so I called out and no one answered. And I could still hear the sound coming towards me. So as I'm staring into the darkness, I could hear the sound of footsteps now with the jingling keys coming towards me. I still couldn't see anything, and I'm calling out. And I turned on all the lights, and no one was there. So I got on my radio and asked if anyone was doing security checks, and everyone responded no, and I thought they were pranking me. So I turned the lights back off, went back to my desk, and I really heard the sound of the keys and the footsteps right behind me as I was facing the desk with my back to the darkness. And then I felt a whoosh of air as if someone ran past me. I actually felt the air whoosh past me. And that's when all the hair on my body stood up. I went into, flight mode instead of fight mode, because how do you fight something you can't see? So the only thing I could think of doing was going into the adjacent room and waking up the inmate. And I yelled into his cell, "Hey, wake up! Wake up!" And he woke up and he's like, "What's wrong, officer?" And I said, "Hey, there's something in here with us and it's not human and I think it's a ghost." And he became afraid. And so we just kind of stood with the bars between us, talking to each other the rest of the night until my release came. And we were both very afraid. And when my release came, he goes, how'd it go? And I said, "Well, not so good." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, I think this place is haunted." And he goes, "Oh yeah, we all know. We were just curious to see if the ghost had came in to say hi to you too." So I was just kind of perturbed that they didn't give me any kind of warning. And I left. And so, that's my experience at a haunted prison. Thank you guys. I love your show. I love your guys' banter. I'm glad Tim's feeling better. Take care.
All right, it's that simple. You no longer have any excuses for why you are not calling in and sharing your stories. As a matter of fact, for every story you call in and share, you're going to get a virtual hug from Tim Dennis. A big, shirtless virtual hug from Tim Dennis simply by calling our Voices from Beyond voicemail at 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. Leave your messages, and we'll play them again very soon. All right, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, we're going to a story where a guy saw the scientific promise in the paranormal, but now his legacy could be lost, Dave. Lightning curls into balls that pass ghost-like through windows and explode. Auroras dip from the sky to buzz and crackle around astonished viewers. Unexplained booms shake the skies over bays and rivers worldwide. For more than 3 decades, a Baltimore physicist named William Corliss collected scientific journal reports of these and thousands of other strange phenomena. You can go ahead and do it. If you want. Yeah, phenomena. Phenomena. Into dozens of books, culminating in his multi-volume Catalog of Anomalies, a shadow encyclopedia of things science doesn't understand. Like any curiosity seeker, he aimed to delight and dazzle, but he also hoped to spur new discoveries and understandings. Anomalies reveal nature as it really is, complex, chaotic, possibly even unplumbable. Corliss wrote in one catalog, however iconoclastic the pages of this book, the history of science tells us that future students of nature will laugh at our conservatism and lack of vision. Corliss was praised by some fellow scientists in his day, but now 8 years after his death at 84, his family is shuttering his self-publishing house in Glen Arm, Maryland. Tomes with such stiffly offbeat titles as Handbook of Unusual Natural Phenomena, which Corliss said sold 100,000 copies, or Rare Halos, Mirages, Anomalous Rainbows, and Related Electromagnetic Phenomena, will go out of print for the first time, and Corliss's legacy as a proponent of anomalistics, an interdisciplinary field that seeks scientific discoveries in the lore of the curious and unexplained, may be destined for obscurity. Lost in library book weedings. I didn't literally say it wrong. It's
Did you just Elmer Fudd out on me?
No, I didn't. No,
I was reading at the Wybowie.
Lost in Wybowie book weedings and buried in footnotes in the even lesser-known works of his handful of fans. Corliss was not your typical compiler of UFO tales and ghost stories. In the 1960s, he served as director of advanced programs in the nuclear division of what is now Lockheed Martin and penned numerous scientific books as a technical writer for such partners as Nobel Prize-winning chemist Glenn Seaborg and NASA. But even those dry histories and manuals included references to unexplained mysteries and digs at the way the scientific establishment is sometimes faster to laugh at an idea than to investigate it. Right.
Thanks for leaving me out twisting on that one.
No problem. Two revolutionary books set Corliss on his maverick course. One was a 1920s creationist assault on mainstream geology. Corliss himself never bought into the creation myth, according to Patrick Hayug, publisher of a journal called The Anomalist, and one of the few writers to interview the publicity-shy author, but he was intrigued by the widespread evidence of catastrophism, the concept that the biblical-scale disasters like megafloods and superquakes shaped the planet's surface, and championed it well before it became cool again, and an asteroid killed the dinosaur's tail that you may have heard. Maybe. The other book that influenced Corliss was The Book of the Damned by Charles Fort. Fort was an eccentric New York journalist who spent the early 1900s scouring newspapers and scientific publications for bizarre reports, rains of blood and frogs, UFOs, ancient Roman coins plowed up in American fields, and compiled them into wild absurdist books that mocked academic certitude. The stories were damned from textbooks because they...
Jeez. I'm trying to write down all these words to read about what they mean later.
Yeah, I know, right? The stories were damned from textbooks because they didn't fit prevailing theory. Fort launched an entire genre of paranormal writing. Hundreds of imitators followed Corliss, foremost among them, on research trips for NASA to Baltimore's Enoch Pratt Free Library. I don't know if you've ever been there before, Dave, but they have amazing coffee. Corliss detoured into old journals to follow up on some of Fort's reports. He was astonished to find that Fort had touched only the tip of the anomaly iceberg. Have you ever touched just the tip of the anomaly iceberg before, Dave?
Tim, never in public. Now, okay. I'm not that kind of show.
All right, thank you. In 1965, Corliss started compiling his own collection. Unlike the cranky Fort, I once built a cranky fort. I don't know if I ever told you that. He maintained a respect for science and its skeptical approach. He selected material primarily from the pages of respectable scientific journals and eschewed Fort's dramatic taste in titles, instead referring to his research blandly as the Sourcebook Project. From 1974 through 2007, he published his collections first as ring-bound pages, then as meticulously indexed hardback catalogs, almost always printed in the relentlessly unsexy font of an old electric typewriter. For illustrations, he signed up a fellow outsider, John C. Jack Holden, a cartoonist trained in geology, who told me he delighted in Corliss's professional dedication to things that shouldn't be. Corliss hoped that his compilations of the weird just might spark a scientific revolution. After all, the history of science is replete with cases of ridiculed reports and obscure observations that, when fitted together, revealed something new. The extraterrestrial origin of meteorites, for example, or the grim reality of battered child syndrome. That's interesting. Of course, many bizarre reports are untrue or insignificant, and Corliss admitted that his books were undoubtedly full of chaff, but several former fringe claims for which he connected the dots of 150 years' worth of reports have joined scientific orthodoxy, including gigantic rogue waves that appear from nowhere to swamp ships and the eerie glows known as sprites that sometimes manifest above thunderstorms. There is no sign, however, that Corliss's research directly inspired any discoveries. Rogue wave and sprites were discovered by accident, detected by recording devices set up for other purposes. As a motto, Corliss adopted a quote from The Hidden Self, an obscure 1890 essay by psychologist and philosopher William James, which reads in part, "Round about the accredited and orderly facts of every science there ever floats a sort of dust cloud of exceptional observations of occurrences minute and irregular and seldom met with, which it always proves less easy to attend than to ignore. Anyone will renovate his science who will steadily look after the irregular phenomena."
Doot 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 phenomena doot 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 phenomena doot 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 doot. And folks, you no longer have to send us the Muppets Phenomena videos, because we get those 20, 30 times a week.
Yeah.
We get it.
Please don't.
It's just an OCD thing in my head. You don't need to send me the videos and make my day longer, because then I can't get it out ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James referred to this dust cloud of anomalies as the unclassified residuum, and Corliss set forth to classify.
You sound depressed all of a sudden.
No. I kind of like those videos. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
At his death in 2011, Corliss left no successor, and the fate of his archives is unclear beyond some newsletters still posted on his website, sciencefrontiers.com, or Science Frontiers. His family declined the interview request sent to him, but his son Jim Corliss confirmed via email that book sales have finally slowed down to a trickle. And, quote, I think we will be sadly saying goodbye to the Sourcebook project this year. So there you go.
Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. All right, listen, speaking of interesting stuff, I don't know if I've had a chance to mention this, Tim, but the show I'm a part of, the Holzer Files,
Yeah.
airs this Thursday
Really?
on the Travel Channel.
You haven't said a thing all
I
program.
know, you know me, I'm humble, I'm shy, I don't always like to brag and pat myself on the back, but I'm part of a new TV program called the Holzer Files, airing on the Travel Channel.
You don't
starting
say.
this Thursday, October 3rd. Very excited about it. October 4th, I'll be part of Ghost Hunt Live Salem, a 4-hour live TV presentation on Travel Channel that you can also be a part of on social media and live on their Facebook page. You're going to be streaming different videos from the locations so you can help direct the action, be a part of the event with us. So go sign up and be a part of that. It's free to sign up and watch. I don't even know if you have to sign up. Just go watch the damn thing. For God's sakes, why do I have to beg you people? Sorry, Tim. I'm a little stressed out. I've been running a lot lately. I'm very tired.
I guess.
Yeah. I'm all right now.
Yeah.
All right. Just going to sit here and rock quietly while you read the next news story, Tim. Where are we off to next?
Flat Earth stuff, Dave. Stuff that people absolutely hate, but we're going to tell you about it anyway.
I love some flat Earth theory. What's going on? Who's entering the fray of crazy now? The cray-cray fray, if you will.
The cray-cray fray is boxing champ Carl Frock, who says that the Earth is flat and the whole planet has been sold a lie, Dave.
Get the frock out of here, Tim.
Well, it's I always love it when people jump on this train. It just drives our audience nuts. He refuses to believe proof from NASA and Elon Musk, accusing them of being in the little clique, quote unquote. He should not be quoting about people's sizes of their cliques. I'm just saying. People get sensitive.
Size is not important when it comes to clicks, Tim.
That's right.
It's informed of that.
It's about the motion in the ocean. I don't know what that means. Boxing legend Carl Frock says the Earth is flat and has accused NASA of making fake photos to keep the world's population thinking it's round. Oh, Carl. It's called one too many hits to the head. That's what it is. The ex-super middleweight champion Bruiser says the entire planet has been sold a lie, and he refuses to believe proof from the U.S. Space Agency, NASA, or space entrepreneur Elon Musk because they are in the quote-unquote little clique that is hiding the truth. You heard it here first. 42-year-old Frock said the Earth is flat 100%. There's no proof of the Earth's curvature, and this fake space agency, NASA, uses CGI images.
Are they fat-shaming Earth, Tim? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah.
They prefer it flat, no curves? Listen, I like my planet like I like my ladies, Tim. Curvy and egg shape, I guess.
An egg shape? You like,
I don't know
you like your women egg shape?
Well, Tim, I'm not here to judge.
No,
it doesn't all have
not.
to be flat. I'm fine with some sexy curves of latitude and longitude, if you know what I mean.
I didn't know women came egg shaped, though. And everyone is different, said Frock. I'm looking at them thinking, hang on a minute, they're like cartoons.
This guy's frocking nuts.
Yeah. When someone like Richard Branson goes up there, he went on to say, and starts doing chartered flights, and you can look back on Earth and see the Earth's curvature, I'll believe the Earth is a globe. Well, you can do that, you dummy. You can go up there and see it for yourself.
Personal attack, Tim. What are you, running for office?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, you can do that.
Shots at individual people. The Frock got into you.
Carl, who quit the ring in 2015, probably not a moment too soon. The brain damage has already set in. Also thinks the moon landing in July of 1969 by Neil Armstrong was faked as well, because why not complete the trifecta? I'm just saying.
He probably thinks it was Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably thought he biked up there.
Yeah,
just saying.
Could be.
Yeah. That's the name of that tune on that. Good luck to you, Mr. Frock. It sounds like you probably need to start doing some physical therapy on that brain.
We
continue on. An online gambling site is taking bets on alien disclosure, Dave.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How do I bet? What's the deal?
Well, UFO enthusiasts are confident that the U.S. government will reveal the existence of aliens in the near future, and they could cash in on that disclosure via an online gambling site that is now taking bets on whether or not such a scenario will unfold. 3 different wagers concerning extraterrestrial revelations were unveiled this week by the digital casino Bovada, Bovada, which set rather long odds on the events actually taking place. So pretty good payoff on this deal. That's what I come to the conclusion of. According to the website's estimate, there's a 5,000 to 1 chance that the U.S. government will confirm the existence of aliens by the end of 2019. The odds get better for alien disclosure in 2020 as Bovada set those at 2,000 to 1 by the end of next year. Perhaps the most intriguing ET wager offered by the website asks, will Donald Trump confirm any images or video to be alien spacecraft before the end of his presidency? For that bet, Bovada set the odds at a somewhat surprising 1,500 to 1. While it does seem as if the prospect of the government revealing that aliens exist may be closer than ever before, one would probably be wise to hold off on betting their life savings on it, since a myriad of similar claims have been made in the past and ultimately did not come to fruition. Plus, should we be told that ETs do exist, your winnings may wind up being essentially worthless should there be reason for coming to Earth be to invade the planet. Now, here's the thing that I'd like to bring up. Last week, there was the story that the government had said that there was unidentified aircraft out there. They didn't specify it as alien, just that it was unidentified aircraft. But they couldn't specify it as quote-unquote alien. That's not necessarily a payoff in online gambling.
That's true. That's true. They're calling out full disclosure. But if you remember at the beginning of the year, Tim, Darkness Radio Dave, in his now infamous year-long psychic prediction, said that there's going to be something that happens this year that will actually lead to major disclosure.
Well, why aren't you putting money down on this whole Bovada thing then?
Because sometimes I just can't be trusted, Tim, when it comes to disclosure. I'm not sure that my alien overlords are going to actually let me be right on this. They may show up like January 1.
Right.
Yeah, just enough to screw with me.
I get it.
Yeah. So that's just my thoughts on it. But that's it.
But in that same vein, though, Dave, President Trump has shared a Mothman tweet.
What?
Yeah, man. It's time to go put some money.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, time to go put some money, some scratch on that deal.
Inner Minnesota surfer, dude.
Telling you. Paranormal enthusiasts were left scratching their heads this past weekend when President Trump retweeted a message concerning, of all things, Mothman. The weird and wholly unexpected turn of events began on Saturday morning when West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin tweeted a picture of himself standing in front of the iconic Mothman statue located in the city of Point Pleasant, wishing everyone in Mason County a happy Mothman festival today, he declared, as thousands of people were descending on the region for the annual celebration dedicated to the infamous and mysterious creature. The fairly standard bit of fun community outreach took a strange turn on Sunday morning when President Trump unexpectedly shared Macon's tweet from his own account and included the cryptic message, "I go along with Joel." Alas, since that was all that the president said about the tweet, many were left wondering what exactly he might have meant and if the message was some kind of endorsement for the Mothman legend. I think he just meant to endorse the actual candidate. Unfortunately, it would seem that the White House press pool has yet to ask the president for his thoughts on the notorious cryptid, which he digitally crossed paths with over the weekend, but one hopes that it may come up sometime soon. Considering Trump's dismissal of the UFO phenomenon earlier, you can go ahead if you'd like.
No, I feel like I've got it out of my system now.
Earlier in the year, it would certainly be a surprise to learn that he was a fan of the mysterious winged creature. that continues to perplex paranormal researchers to this day. That said, the fact that we're talking about the President of the United States retweeting a picture of the Mothman in the first place suggests that really anything is possible. With that in mind, you may say to yourself, what's he thinking? Now, I think he's actually just tweeting his support for the candidate, not necessarily saying, I'm with Mothman. But
oh, really, Tim? You're such a naysayer. You're a sayer of nays.
A sayer of nays, you say?
Mm-hmm. I do. I say that you're a nayer-sayer. A sayer of nays.
A sayer of nays. And lastly, Dave.
Yes,
lastly,
Tim.
Dave, I know you haven't touched on it at all.
What?
So I feel I would be remiss if I didn't remind people that coming up in just, let me see, that would be 6 short days from now on Friday, October 4th.
I'm hanging on every word.
Okay, on Friday, October 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, Travel Channel is going to premiere Haunted Salem Live, a special 4-hour live ghost investigation in and around the historic city of Salem, Massachusetts, led by a team.
Don't say.
Yeah, I don't say. I am saying it right now.
Okay.
Led by a team of the network's biggest paranormal stars, the immersive multi-platform event will investigate ghostly activity at 3 historic locations tied to the infamous Salem witch trials of the late 17th century, the Ipswich Jail, the Proctor House, and Rockefellers. Teams will simultaneously lead separate investigations around the city as they seek to expose the hauntings that have plagued the notable city for hundreds of years. The night will culminate with a seance conducted simultaneously by the teams from each of the 3 locations. The All-Star team includes Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman from Portals to Hell, Amy Bruni, Adam Berry, and Chip Coffey from Kindred Spirits, Dalen Spratt, Joanne Mass, and Marcus Harvey from Ghost Brothers Haunted House Guests. Some Dave Schrader and Cindy Keza from the Holzer Files.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them?
Never heard of them.
No? Okay, well, they'll be there as well. The special event is hosted by, is it Jamie Kaler?
Sure.
All right.
I'll go with that. Why not?
All right. Throughout the 4-hour event, 6 live on-location video feeds will run on Travel Channel's Facebook Live feed. Eagle-eyed viewers can comment on any findings and activity they spot in real time, participating in the hunt and helping direct the team where to investigate next, along with digital host James B. McDaniel. Fans can join the investigation on Twitter using hashtag HauntedSalemLive, where Travel Channel will be live tweeting all of the action and showcasing fan tweets on live TV. For more on the special, simply visit travelchannel.com.
Very cool. Boy, I couldn't have said it better myself if I'd have thought about it today.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you let it slip your mind. I mean,
it's, I've got so much going on, Tim, with the debut of my show, the Holzer Files on October 3rd, and then that I'll be a part of Ghost Hunt Live Salem on October 4th. You can see how that, that could slip my mind.
Oh, sure. A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on. Is that it, speaking of?
That's it.
That's all? We're out of time?
Yep.
Well, isn't that a thing?
That's a thing. Yep.
Right. Well, that's very cool. Thank you all for tuning in, being a part of our world with us. We will be back tomorrow as we explore the Hat Man phenomena. Right here on Beyond the Darkness.